Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joey. I've got some C-Class races for you here, and for the first race of the recording session, I really wanted to show you just how good I have become at this game by going wide, hitting a wall, and promptly rage quitting. I am so fucking shit at this game, and that will never change. Second race, it's only up from here, and I've got a wingman in this one. We've got a nice old Jaguar to go nicely with my 67 Corvette, which honestly makes me splooge just about every time I look at it. But the guy in the old Jag, he's going to play a very important role this race. We started third and fourth on the grid, qualifying in those spots, jumped up to first and second before the first turn, and now I've got a buffer between those big kahunas that qualified first and second and me, King Cobra, creating that gap for me. And a mighty fine job he did. For a lap, he held him off, and I was able to pull away by about a second and a half, but Proto-Zune 47, the guy who qualified in first, made that pass on lap 2, and now he's going to start tracking me down. Now, after that first race, I'm not exactly overflowing with confidence, if you know what I mean, but end of lap 2, Proto ends up tracking me down. He's about half a second behind starting lap 3. Then to finish off lap 3, start lap 4, I held it around that mark, still around that half-second 4/10 mark. I'll continue to build on that too as we head down the straight and cross the line to start lap 4. Then we'll skip to the end of lap 4, start of lap 5. Again, it's around that half-a-second mark, so I'm being very consistent and not letting them catch up to me. At least not close enough to go for a move, and that Integra is a very strong car for C-Class, I guess. The only hope I really have here on this last lap is I drive consistently, and maybe he gets a little distracted, maybe accidentally splooges by looking at the rear end of the Corvette. I don't know. Anything to distract the guy, because he is only 2/10 behind as we head up the hill coming through the S's and then head out onto the long straight where I should have the advantage. Or so I thought, because Proto is very solidly in the draft right now, pulling up along my left side, only a 10th behind, and he's going to be able to keep up with this vet down the straight. It's a drag race here on the straight, but it's about to be a ball-sized comparison contest heading into the braking zone. I just about went out on the brakes, although that Integra most likely has the handling advantage through the bus stop and around this carousel we're coming around right now. But if I can stay in the lead, stay ahead as we get onto this back straight, I'm hoping I can put a little bit of a gap between us. Not being able to pull away on the last straight definitely has me a little worried in this situation, but it looks like I am inching forward. The gap up to 4/10 from the 3/10 at the beginning of the straight. It's going to come down to these last couple of corners, so around the penultimate. Taking it very nicely, staying within track boundaries and keeping that momentum up. No complaining from me there. And around the final corner, the gap gets up to 6/10, back down to half a second, but we're pulling away on this straight. So unless this perfectly made game wants to disconnect me from the session like it has 5,000 times this week, it's going to be a win. From rage quitting to getting the dub, let this be inspiration to some of you new players out there. Even shit players like me can win sometimes. Let it be inspiration to you. We move on. We've got the Toyota Drano. I have no idea. It's a Toyota, nonetheless, and it's got a massive wing on it that looks like it came stock with the car. There's nothing out of the ordinary about that massive wing on this little car. But we're starting middle of the pack, and navigating turns 1 through 3 is usually the biggest challenge when we're all bunched up together. Getting through there pretty nicely. Only one major spin, it looked like, happened there, managing to avoid that. Jumping up into the top 10 as well, sitting here in 9th. Into the braking zone now, braking just in the middle of that first and second board. A Porsche is pit maneuvering somebody, and, well, I mean, let's be honest, I didn't help the situation at all. In fact, I kind of made it infinitely worse for them. For me, I'm up 4 spots, so it kind of depends on how you look at it, and now I've just run away like an absolute piece of trash, just hoping they don't realize it was me that just made everything worse. Into the braking zone, a fender bender. Everyone trying to brake at different points there. That's really on me. Braking a little too late and then locking up the tires like an absolute pro. Thy Torques in the Pontiac, a great name, by the way, is going to get the overtake done with that superior power on the straight. But when we're coming off the banking through the left-hander, I might be able to send up a return move with that handling, courtesy of the massive wing There you go, slipping back in front, and as we come around the chicane back out onto the oval section, that'll be lap 1 in the books. So in terms of gaining positions, great lap. But in terms of running into people, honestly pretty shit. I really screwed up that go-around. Lap 2 is going to be better on that front. So here we go, into the hairpin. I'm going to brake plenty early, make sure I don't run into the back of anybody. The Porsche and the Integra are fighting it out on the exit, so there's an opportunity for me to slip under and maybe grab a couple of positions up into 3rd place. There we go. We got a 2 for 1, and that Ford Falcon up there in 2nd place isn't going to have a fun time around the twisty section to end off this lap. So let's see if we can make it one more before the start of lap 3. Closing in through the first left-hander and even more under braking for the second. Coming up on the chicane, I've got about half a car length alongside. He's going to give me the space, and around the outside onto the straight, it's up into 2nd place for us. It's a good thing I got a little aggressive there and went for the move, because there is an angry mob of drivers that I would have been fighting with back there for position had I not been up here. So I definitely prefer to be where I am right now. Into turn 1, those big muscle cars behind are going to struggle through here, clipping the apex nicely, and that gap goes up to about a second to 3rd and 4th behind, and that's where this race would end. So a 2nd place in this one. 1st place was a little too quick. I couldn't quite catch up to him, but the Toyota Big Wing, very good car for C-Class. Love this thing. Great acceleration, good through the corners too, and overall really good car for Miami. All right, next race, we've got Laguna Seca. It's my favorite track and my favorite car that I've built so far in C-Class. This is the Maserati A6 GCS, and it handles like a dream. Usually in Forza, the older cars like this one handle a little weird, but no, not at all. This thing handles really well, and it can take the race to the better cars in C-Class, like the Mazda MX-5s, the Integras, the BRZs. As we take the dogleg to the left, the Integra going a bit wide, running over the sand. A BRZ from behind is going to come barging through. He carried an unreal amount of speed through there. Then he finds himself running over the sand on the outside. I took way too much of that curb on the inside, ended up basically launching half the car into the air, losing some traction, and now I'm stuck in a fight with this Mazda as we go through the corkscrew for the first time. Coming out ahead of Crow in that MX-5, but that is not the last we will see of him. Our race has only begun with Crow. For now, we'll try to catch back up with the BRZ and the Integra as we come around the penultimate corner, finish off lap 1. The BRZ gonna go defensive into the final turn, but little do they know, there is plenty of handling in this Maserati to go around, but I've just gone maybe an inch, maybe a centimeter too wide, and that's going to get me a 1/10 of a second in penalty time. So not the ideal way to finish off lap 1, but it's not all that much time. I'm not going to complain about it too much. There are bound to be more penalties handed out. I just need to make sure I'm not the one racking up the penalty time, especially going through that corkscrew. If you cut the corner on the corkscrew ever so slightly, you're going to get at least a second penalty. The Forza penalty system does not appreciate people cutting that corner, and they let you know. Here we go through the funky left-hander for the second time, making sure this time around to not run over that curb on the inside, and we've got a good run on the Integra. Having to peek behind to see where that MX-5 is as we continue to come up alongside the Integra, and this is going to be one of the best moves I've pulled off in a while, around the outside to get the better line out of the corkscrew, and there we are, up into the lead. Crow would end up following me through there as well, pushing the Integra down into 3rd. And here we go through the corkscrew for the 3rd time. The situation's still pretty much the same. The MX-5 and Integra still close behind, but that BRZ is starting to fall off from the back of the pack, almost 2 seconds behind now. The penalty situation is still the same for better or worse, but coming around the final corner, that is going to change. Going defensive here to keep the MX-5 on the outside, and Crow is going to cut that corner just a tiny bit and end up getting 3/10. He got the run out of the corner as well, but I wonder if there was a misshift there, or maybe he just didn't want to make the overtake after cutting the corner. But either way, we're still in the lead and in a little bit better of a situation than I was before, now that 2nd place has that penalty time, kicking up some sand, just trying to make it hard for the guys behind to see. You know, it's totally strategic. It wasn't a mistake that could have led me to getting totally pulled off into the sand in this race, going into the shitter. Either way, it hasn't really helped me out because Crow is right on my tail, breaking on that second marker to the left, through there nicely, and I'll have a little bit of breathing room as we make our way up the hill into the corkscrew once again. For this one, breaking in between that first and second board on the right side, down in the second gear, and that should get you through here nicely up into third on the way out. Now, see, the problem here is I've just been driving way too consistently, and I haven't fucked up in a while and faced the consequences of it. So here, I'm just going to bring myself back down to earth, miss the apex on the right-hander, drift wide over into the sand, and let's just make things even. It's going to be 3/10 versus 3/10 with 2 laps to go. Even penalty time. This is going to make things a hell of a lot more interesting. Again, I did it completely on purpose. I knew exactly how much penalty time this perfect penalty system was going to give me. It's all part of the plan. And here at the start of lap 5, coming into turn 1, it's become a 2-horse race. We're a little over a second ahead of third place and about 2.5 seconds ahead of fourth. So it is a battle between me and Crow as we come around the final corner to start lap 6, the final lap. It's going to be a shootout. I did put in a decent lap, got that gap up to about 8/10, but as we continue down this straighter section of the track, that time gap is just going to continue to come down. So through turn 1, no crash. That is a good deal. I'll take that, but the time gap at half a second now, and now 4/10 as we take the dog leg to the left and start heading uphill. That time continuing to come down. The headlights are very much on the back of my car now, adding to the pressure buildup. Now I'm going to hit the sausage curve on the inside of the corner. I hadn't done that since lap 1. I'd been so consistent with it. I've been doing so well, and now Crow is into the lead. Choked the lead on the final lap. Very classic for the channel. There are a couple of more corners to try to get a move done. The MX-5 not having the greatest exit out of the corkscrew. I'm having a look up the inside, but I have spun so many people out trying to go up the inside of that left-hander. I backed out, but we got the double choke. He dipped a couple of tires onto the sand there, lost the car, and that is the double choke. We both choked it on the final lap. I don't think I deserve to win this, but I'm going to cross the line in the lead, and they can't take that away. It's going down on the stat sheet as a win no matter what. There you go. Crossing the line. That's a win for the Maserati at Laguna Seca. C-Class, never failing to give out some good races. There is the leaderboard if you want to give it a look. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do all the stuff that YouTubers tell you to do at the ends of videos, and I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Bye, everybody.